Let's talk about Crash Bandicoot. When you think of the PlayStation 1 or Naughty Dog, this orange goofy fuzzball is one of the prevalent things that many people, now over 30, will think of. This fantastic trilogy of games evolved the platforming genre again and again 3 years in a row, cementing Crash as a PS1 mascot and Naughty Dog as a developer with a fantastic set of creative minds behind them. Sure, the first game was D-pad only and brutally hard, the second game put cold hard Crash into it, and the third had those damn bike levels, but when you're literally carving the path for platformers on the PlayStation, of course there's going to be a few bumps in the road. Sadly, Crash had a rough transition out of the PS1 era.
I'm just trying to do my job, and you go and cause all this chaos.
That's my Charlie Pack mascot, Willy Wumpa Cheeks.
Ooh, that feels good. I was bursting in there.
No, wait, that last one was still kind of good. Now, after 22 years, a couple kart racers, a handful of mediocre games, a remaster of those kart races people remember playing as a kid, and a remaster of the games people remember liking as a kid, gamers were presented with Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time, made by Toys for Bob. Sure, they've got some...
What? Where am I? Who are you?
divisive games in their repertoire to say the least, but these are the same peeps who made that Spyro Trilogy remake, and even responsible for the Switch port of the Crash one. So with over 20 years of gaming developments, learning and improving, it's unsurprising that people who'd refound or fell in love with Crash thanks to the Insane Trilogy were eager to have something new to play. This even included us. I mean, how could we not after the experiences we had with the remakes? The way the game slowly builds up its challenges, not only in level difficulty, but also with the additional ways you can test and hone those skills via collecting the gems and time trials, was so addictive. Hell, we came back to these games just to pick up the full achievement list with the Stormy Ascent and Future Tense levels, because even after hearing how difficult those levels were, the gameplay alone was rewarding enough to hook us all over again. And now here comes Crash 4, a new Crash game with that oh so overused phrase, the Dark Souls of platformers, coming up when the game first released. This was shaping up to be the perfect storm here. A game series we fell in love with, a developer who's shown a passion for bringing those classics to a modern audience, achievements to earn and gain us internet points of recognition, and a bunch of gamers crying over how hard a kid's game is. Well, how could we not want to go for the 100% to become a master marsupial? After all, if we can beat Stormy Ascent and Future Tense, time trials included, in only 8 hours, well, this can't be much worse. But before we jump in, we'd just like to mention these grinds are done live here and over on Twitch, which you can find the link to along with the VOD archives down below. And hey, while you're down there, why not give the video a like? It goes a long way in helping us and these videos out. So with 51 achievements to collect, let's jump in and give Crash 4 a spin. Our story begins where things left off at the end of the last game. No, not that one, this one. After decades of attempts, Uka Uka is finally able to break open a tear in reality to escape this pocket dimension he, Cortex, and Entropy have been trapped in. This catches Aku Aku's attention, as most reality-shattering events would, so it's up to Crash and Coco to stop whatever Cortex and cronies are meddling with, dropping us right into the first level. While we take a moment to enjoy the scenery and get a feel for the controls, we accidentally earn our first achievement, Altitude Sickness, for doing a slide double jump, followed quickly by our first intended achievement, Channel Surfer, for spinning the TV 4 times. Goodness me, 3 minutes in and already 2 achievements. If everything's gonna be this easy, we'll be done with this in a week. But there's still plenty to do till that happens, and already Toys for Bob are letting us know that while this is a kid's game, it's not a game for kids. Oh, what the? No! Don't tell me there was a box hidden here! That's just mean! 104 crates, and hiding them in locations like that in the first level. That's gonna make getting the box gem a touch trickier. Good thing that's not the only gem these levels have now. There's also 3 for collecting 40, 60, and 80% of the Wumpa Fruit, 1 for finishing a level in 3 or less deaths, and a cheeky gem hidden somewhere in the level. Quick tally up on how many that's gonna be across 29 levels puts the total at a whopping 174 gems. And yes, we've gotta get them all. This first level isn't done handing out achievements though, as finishing the first bonus room also comes with taking the side road. Once we scale Insanity Peak, the box gem is waiting for us, along with Invincible for finishing a level without dying. Oh, look at that! There's even a nifty little bonus if you get all the crates and don't die at all during a level with something called an Insanely Perfect relic. It even comes with a nice little freebie achievement, so-called Perfectionist. Now to head into the caves to find any clues about what Aku Aku felt earlier. We get a couple new mechanics to try out, first of which is these nifty rope swings for a new spin on the moving platform and the, useful low spin, where you'll only hit the bottom crate in a stack if you're really close and standing perfectly still the whole time, like the slide already does, but slower. Well, not every new edition can be a winner. Also, platforms now seem to be phasing in and out of reality. That could be related to that reality-shattering event Aku Aku felt, and while climbing deeper into the caverns, we happen to notice this marking on the wall. In the ensuing room with a similar layout, we follow that pattern which pops out the red gem and earns us ruby red. Looks like we'll be having to get some colored gems here too. Turns out that phasing is being caused by this new mask we find, but trying to wake them up activates the floor trap, meaning less question asking, more running for our lives. Once the Bandicoot butts are safe, 6 more gems are scored and the achievement reality-shattering proportions is earned, we can have a chat with this new mask. Lani Loli is one of the 4 quantum mask siblings, but there's no warm welcome from Aku Aku, since the presence of these masks means only one thing. Some putz with a big evil plan and bigger ego is about to do something monumentally stupid. That quantum rift that Uka Uka created has given our 4 endearing villains a new chance to set their sights on conquering all of space and time. So we're off across time and space to put a stop to these dastardly deeds via the dimensional map, a brilliant feature bringing back the Chad Island maps from the first game over the Virgin teleporters from the second and third. Here we take a moment before jumping into the next level to look up some of the skins that we've unlocked so far, earning all gussied up for trying one on. Grinding on down to the hazardous wastes of 2084 for our next batch of levels, here Engine's been drumming up an army for Cortex to help take over the world. At least we think that's what's going on. We broke the megaphone he was taunting us through to get megaphoning it in before he could finish. Now remember the first level and that crate placed real close to the toppled pillar? Well, here's where Toys for Bob decide that not also are they going to reference Cold Hard Crash's crate count, but also the gimmick of hiding boxes just off screen. So now every level's pace is going to slow to a crawl to make sure we don't miss any of them. Sorry, did you think that was as bad as it gets? No. There are 2 hidden crates here. Can you see them? Well, if you found this one tucked away in the tires, good job. The second one, however, is found underneath the bonus platform after you finish it. The only reason we saw it is because we died a couple of times scouring the level. Oh, but the crates aren't the only thing getting annoying now. Here's our first traversal tip for playing this game. When you find a secret area with some crates, don't be an idiot and just break them. Assume there's a second, secreter area to be found using the crates like with this level's hidden gem. After, no exaggeration, nearly 15 minutes here, we come away with ladies first for finishing a level with Coco and every gem except for the 3 deaths, but we can come back for that later. It seems we're not done with new stuff yet either. As we start up the next level, we're greeted by an ancient relic from a bygone era, its purpose all but lost to time. A VHS tape. Remember the old death routes from the other Crash games and how they're only available if you can get to them without dying? Well, now instead of being a part of the level, they're getting their own separate ones. There's an achievement tied to beating all 21 of those, so we'll add another 21 things to collect to our to-do list. At least nabbing our first one does give us AV Club Founder, so they can't be all that bad. Oh, but speaking of, Toys for Bob's level design will now include making areas with crates in them where, no matter the camera angle, you can't see in. Reminder, this is the 4th level. Still, with our now verging on paranoia, scouring of the levels after almost missing the bonus platform and having access to the red gem path, we're able to scoop up another 6 gems. The game might be getting hard, but we'll just get harder. Wait, that sounds right. Right, let's hit the road. It's an almost nice level now, and thanks to our paranoia, we end up making our second traversal tip. When in the 2D section, try running towards the screen as there may be some cheeky crates hidden just out of sight. We also get a brand new type of crate, the fire crate. What these do is cycle between spewing fire out that kills you and not doing that. A cool idea, but all this ends up doing is making us stand around waiting for them to stop being on fire. Ah well, not every edition can be a winner. While grabbing another flashback tape, we've also been spinning these oil drums, since a picture graffitied on the wall earlier led us to think that the green gem would appear for doing so. While this isn't true, we do get junkyard jams and another traversal tip. Spin everything in the scenery. You never know when it'll pop out one of the more cryptic achievements. Despite our diligent crate crushing, we managed to miss this very obvious stack, since we couldn't tell in this lighting if it was steel crates or just reinforced crates. Coming back to rewatch this footage while writing this script is gonna make us feel so stupid, isn't it? Yeah, but a positive spin to this level is that thanks to tip number 3, while being chased down by a giant dump truck, we spin some more bins, which spat out this toy truck, which drove itself into the nearby nitro crate and exploded, leaving behind the green gem for Emerald Gemrold. With 5 levels now completed, just like the other games, it's time for a boss fight. We, don't really have much to say about these. Just like with the Spyro games, boss fights aren't really a selling point. And with Engine's performance crashed spectacularly, he's beaten with his own drum, and we freed the second Quantum Mask, Akana. Oh no, wait, no, he's bounced off through another rift. Yes, we'd better chase him down to make sure this doesn't happen again. As stunning as these new level aesthetics here in the Salty Wharf are, it does make the hidden gem just a tad more difficult to look for. What with the swords and the water and our inability to play platform as well. Still, it's only the flashback tape and death gem we couldn't get this run, so I'd say it went pretty well. That's probably not good. Whoa, hang on, who the hell are you? Well, whoever they are, they're certainly packing a fancy grappling hook. The hookshot move itself is... well, it's a bit finicky if you're trying to use it to hit crates the game doesn't want you to. And the crates it does expect you to, since there isn't a lock-on for it unless you're in a very specific spot. The hookshot's range also means that crates can be strewn about in the backgrounds of levels now, and if you didn't happen to walk by the exact spot to hookshot them, you're gonna end up missing at least one, like this one, right at the start of the level! We ended up missing only that one, and overshooting the deaths just a tad while getting a hang of this new character, but hey, at least the hidden gem was easy to find. After cutting Crash and Coco down, the two recognize their rescuer as Torna? Well, a Torna that's apparently from a different dimension. She's not one for groups though, so decides to split, wishing the pair luck, saying if she happens to find us again on her travels, she'll be more than happy to lend us a hand. In fact, Torna thinks she might have already done just that. Remember how that huge truck in Hit the Road got stuck before it could mow us down? Well, if we head back that way, we get a new level to enjoy as Torna to see how that happened. These Torna timelines also have another 6 gems for us to grab, so our gem total is bumped up to almost 200 now. While these timeline levels are kinda cool, there's one small teeny tiny issue with them. While you get to explore a new level with a different character, when you reach the part of the previous level that they had a hand in, you're just thrown back into said previous level and told to play the rest of it again. Sure, the crates are in a slightly different arrangement, but yeah, it's just the same level again. Ah well, not every edition can be a winner. Also, don't forget, Torna has some stupidly placed boxes off in the background, so hearing we didn't get the 3 deaths or box gem is going to become a lot more common as these levels go on. We do grab putting things in perspective for doing one of these timeline levels though, so, you know, silver linings and all that.
Not bad. So yeah, died too many times and missed 3 boxes. Don't know where, but okay, well that's a problem for future us. And future us, I'm sorry we were so fucking terrible at this game. We'll probably get better. I don't think we will.
Well, we can only hope you do. We're back to the Salty Wharf now for Jetboard Jetty, which unironically surprised us as they brought back the jetboard. It's not too dissimilar from the original games, which is nice, but it does mean it still can't turn worth a damn. The whole level is actually rather fun. Some tricky 2D platforming for the majority of it, but platforming that's still rewarding to get good at. The green gem path does highlight a little problem with the slide here. If you're sliding too close to a stack of crates, you won't break just the bottom crate, but also the one above it too. However, if you slide too far away, then you're not going to travel far enough to go under all of them. From now on, instances like this will refer to as bullshit mechanic deaths, or BMDs for short. Also, if you find yourself missing 2 crates somewhere in this level, you'll likely want traversal tip 4. Always check stacks of crates to see if any are arrow crates. Toys for Bob decided that slowing your pace to a crawl to check for them is fun and engaging. Still, we do come away with 5 out of the 6 gems and the flashback tape after the gimmicky, albeit mediocre, fight against Louise. Seems they were here guarding the spot that Ancano ended up landing in. But now that we've recruited the stoic stone face, we get silent protagonist and follow them to our next set of levels. Here in the calming aura of the Tranquility Falls, Dr. Fetus has been trying to test out his potentially powerful and potent potions of mutagen on the locals. But if we can beat one insidious scientist, we can do it again. Actually, just like Engine, we shut up Fetus by smashing the conical flask he's taunting us through for Silence the Scientist. The best thing about these levels is getting to take Ancano Volcano and their powers for a spin. And what a spin it is. No joke or hyperbole, this is the best power-up the Crash series has ever had. Unlimited and stronger spins that can break even reinforced crates is nice enough, but the momentum you get to play around with here allows you to catch some serious air with upwards momentum and travel a huge distance with the slower descent. It makes exploring around incredibly rewarding and fun to do, but despite being able to sleuth out this hidden exclamation crate, we still ended up missing out not only on the 3 deaths gem, but also the hidden gem and the box gem by a whopping 28 crates. Oh boy, things are starting to get tricky now. At least we're a third of the way through the game in only 2 1/3 hours. According to this pace, in just under 5 hours we'll be done. We hope you liked Give It a Spin, by the way, because Torna's back for another third of a level now. Seriously, this level is mostly just playing Give It a Spin again. Out of the 175 crates in this level, Torna's section contains a whopping 31 of them, and they're gonna be well off in the background, so have fun trying to pan the camera around to look for them! Despite the game's best efforts, we still nabbed the death gem, but couldn't sweep them all, even after managing to grab the off-screen hidden crate because the arrow crate was between 3 and 4's crates. Sorry. That just pisses us off from a game design perspective. Good thing that's about as bad as it gets. Dragging on. Dear God, does this level do just that. First of all, in this cacophony of a catastrophic level, this one area has a very stupid invisible wall that'll gimp your jump along these platforms. You know, that thing you do in literally every platformer? We're off to a good start here, but even the upsides with the level-specific achievements feel like they're taunting us. Smashing all 4 gongs not only gives us a headache, but also hammer it home. Then, once we've pulled ourselves through the rest of the level, we're greeted by this. One fucking crate! Yes, it was bound to happen eventually, but why did it have to be this level? Oh, but wait, it gets worse. Have a gander at that carving on the wall. Yep. Make it all the way back here without breaking any crate and you'll get another colored gem. So rather than getting to progress forward, since we know these gems open up new routes for other levels, we get to do dragging on again! What a fitting expression Crash has when he's forced to replay a level over and over again. We spent the next 45 minutes here trying to finish this level crateless. Breaking nothing means you can't jump on a TNT, you can't have a Carno spin through any reinforced crates, and worst of all, no checkpoints. Fun fact, in Crash 2 to get the Sapphire Gem, you also had to beat a level completely crateless. However, that was the first level! We also decided that since there's a flashback tape here, we'll restart whenever we die, so we can just grab that since the run is going to be deathless anyway. But holy fuck, this game has some load time troubles. It doesn't feel like much playing normally, but every single death having to wait for the death animation, then fade to black, then fade back in, pause and restart, then wait to load the level again, just drags on and on and on. The nice thing is, we know once we get to the flashback tape, it'll be there waiting for us. However, if we restart the level, we'll have to collect it again. There is a single shard of hope to cling to here though. While we can't use any checkpoint crates, completing a bonus room counts as a checkpoint. So, if we can clear the bonus room without breaking anything, that's a win for us. We can also try it over and over again until we get it, but that is assuming we even could get it.
But I'm not gonna because I'm insane.
Okay, maybe it's at least worth trying. It may have taken us 18 attempts, but because we start right back at the bonus platform, in only 5 minutes, we've got ourselves the checkpoint we need.
Yes, it's doable! It's doable! I'm a genius! You can all like the stream and the video because we'll probably put this in here. Hi, future us who's done this. Congratulations on finishing the game. I hope it didn't suck. It probably sucked. Probably not though. Maybe, who knows?
Oh, you'll find out soon enough, past us. But first, you've got to finish this level. Even with the checkpoint, we're still trying to go for the 3 deaths or less just to grab another gem. Okay, well, we'll just come back for that one later.
I was doing so well!
Guess doing this in just 7 attempts was a bit too optimistic, huh? Fun fact, of the 23 attempts to get this flashback tape, Sapphire Gem, and 3 or less Death Gems in one go, only 6 attempts ever made it as far as the bonus platform, which on its own took us a total of 46 tries over these 6 attempts to successfully do. We may have seriously concussed ourselves on this brick wall, but it still broke first. Yes! Sapphire
Acquirer, baby! Let's fucking go!
At least the next achievement isn't as strenuous to obtain. Just follow tip 3 and spin this tree right at the start of the level. After being pelted by a falling bumper berry, that's all you'll need to do to unlock tree droppings. We'd like to say the rest of the level is a fun time with the new wall running mechanic once you get the hang of it, but Toys for Bob can't let you have too much fun, mainly because the wall running isn't actually explained much and you just gotta get a feel for it. The best trick is to try and listen for a shoe squeak, as that's usually the best time to jump off the wall. Also, as unintuitive as it sounds, try not to hold any direction on the left stick when you jump off, because that'll cause more BMDs than it's worth. Ah well, not every edition can be a winner. But don't go running off having too much fun now. Remember, there are crates to break! You might think one hidden off screen around a corner is the nastiest this level could do, but that's not even hidden compared to the others. Look at this! You see a crate? No? It's here! Now crates are being nestled into the scenery so much they blend into said scenery! But even noticing this one isn't enough, as we still end up missing 2 once we reach the end of the stage. The one we just pointed out after dying and forgetting to get it again, and another one we missed. It has been on screen already, but we'll talk about that one later. Right now, we've got another boss to bash. Once he's had enough, Embryo flies off and leaves behind Master Mixologist and nothing else. No, seriously, there's not so much as a hint of another quantum mask. Hopefully we'll find something down in Mosquito Marsh. Here in Offbeat, the spectacle of the Mardi Gras Festival's sights and sound make for a brilliant aesthetic. With no new gimmicks or mechanics here either, this level feels the most like the older games. Just some solid platforming good times. It's even got a stupidly simple achievement to get, Here Kitty Kitty, for just spinning this skip. Apparently there's a cat in there, but the only indication is heard after you spin it. Ah well, better not complain about another easy achievement and 5 more gems. Wow. What's that? Oh, is that roadkill pie? Slug and centipede combo? Oh, God, that's braised bat tacos and guacamole. Someone's been home cooking, and by the looks of it, that someone is Dingo Dial, who's enjoying the retired life as a restaurant owner now. He's even swapped out the flamethrower for a turbocharged vacuum cleaner. Good thing too, because we've got to suck up 400 crates here. Now, sure, that's nearly double the amount of most levels so far, but to be fair, most of those are in huge piles that you can spin through with Dingo's thick, jiggly thighs. Actually, his double jump and hover ain't too bad either. A touch janky, but it's fun. He's got the same issue aiming TNT that Torna does with a hook shot, which is a bit more of a problem for this level specifically, since we've got to hit all 5 of these large signs and only limited attempts to do so. Once we knock them all down, we earn bad signs and can move on with our lives. However, a new character also means more timelines, and more timelines means another 18 gems to push our total to collect over 200. So while back down in the salty wharf for a brief interlude with Dingo Dial, we pick up Give Him a Broadside almost accidentally for spinning this little cannon in Thar He Blows. If it wasn't for this achievement, we'd have skipped over this level entirely, but now that we're here actually, there is one thing we want to bring up. Why does this level have the most stupidly difficult bonus room for no reason? No joke, this bastard took us more time to finish than the rest of the level! Timeline interlude finished, we're back to the bayou, and oh, peep that topaz in the opening cutscene too. But don't get too excited running off after that. Remember, there are crates to break! With a little tight platforming performed, we're rewarded topaz pizzazz and the comfort knowing that we've gotten all the colored gems, so there's nothing to worry about with those anymore. The hidden gem though? Well, see for yourself.
Seriously though. What the fuck is that? Okay. Is that... No! What is... I'm sorry, what? You are absolutely fucking kidding me! I was just like, no, did we miss something? Seriously! That was off the fucking screen!
Sadly, not knowing we'd already missed a bunch of crates in this level, we were still resetting during that jetboard section to make sure we didn't miss any, sluggishly limping our way out of this level with just the 3 Pity Wumpa gems and that vile hidden gem. Good news though, this place is where the third Quantum Mask sibling, Kapuna Wa, has tucked itself away. They're a pretty grandmotherly mask, and with a mastery over time, it would have been nice for her to warn us about what's to come. No, not the giant mask-eating monster from beyond the stars, but... Ah well, off we pop to the next location with I Can See Through Time. Oh wait, no we aren't. Time to replay Run It By You, but this time with 502 crates to find. Hope you like that jetboard section.
Yeah, it's 52? Come on, be 52. No, there's not 52! We are off by 9.
The chilly peaks of the 11th dimension are where Cortex has set up his airship and is crafting up his dastardly deeds. Sadly, with this being an ice world, that means we're gonna have to deal with those oh so wonderful slippery platforms. At least Toys for Bob made one improvement over the trilogy by not keeping the terrible friction while jumping. Sometimes. As for Capunawa and her power, she can slow down time to a crawl, allowing us to traverse across fast-moving platforms or even bounce over nitro crates before they explode. Haha, suck it, sneaking, you useless power-up! Aside from some absolutely abysmal BMDs, it might just be us getting used to this kind of level design or us following our traversal tips religiously, but in 3 out of the 4 levels, we're able to come away with all the gems bar the deaths. Sure, we've missed all the flashback tapes, but we need a win here, damn it! Speaking of a win, we've chased Cortex down to his blimp for a boss fight. A nice change of pace here, since he's usually the final boss, but that's not to say his fight isn't just as challenging. If you don't trivialize it with a mask power-up, that is. Even if you don't, there's a checkpoint every time you deal damage to a boss, so the fights are more a war of attention than attrition. So, for the 4th time, we clonk Cortex and stop his evil plan. However, he's not the only one we need to stop. Entropy has far bigger plans with the Rift Generator and aims to work with a new partner to wipe out the entire timeline and rebuild the universe in his image, which won't be including Cortex or Crash. Now with a common goal, or at least a common enemy, we're off in search for where Entropy's base is hidden. To do that, we'll need to find the final quantum mask, and they appear to be somewhere around the Ergopus dimension, set some 88 million years BCB. Hold on, are we reading that right? BCB? Wouldn't that mean before Crash Bandicoot? Is Crash Bandicoot this game's version of Jesus Christ? The dinosaur levels were always a fun time, and this game is no different. Even the blasted crate locations are kept to a minimum. And hey, look at that! We came away with 5 of the gems and the flashback tape too. Maybe we've been too hard on some of these levels. I mean, it is the latter half of the game now, so maybe all that exposure for the last 7 hours means that these later stages won't be so bad. This is shaping up to be a good time. Hello, Cortex levels. Yes, since we're teaming up with Cortex, we now get to play as Cortex. As both a nerd and jaundiced white boy, jumping really isn't in his wheelhouse. Could be a problem considering this is a platformer. Instead, his blaster's new blockification setting to turn enemies into either steel or bouncy platforms is how we're going to make our way through most of the levels. 3 guesses how well the aiming on this pivotal mechanic that Cortex's entire level structure is built around is. Ah well, not every edition can be a winner. There's also this dash which travels a set distance before dropping Cortex down. Nice for a burst of speed, but mainly used for clearing large gaps since, again, pasty white boy's got no vertical. Having the dash on R1 and blaster on R2 is rather dangerous to use though, so we'd advise you use square for shooting and R1 for boosting, lest you fire yourself into an enemy rather than the blaster shot, or vice versa. It took us longer than we'd like to admit to figure this idea out. The other half of our time on this level was spent with this fucker. Turns out those platformers that you can make out of enemies have slight height differences. Good luck figuring that shit out on your own. Hell, we still don't know how we ended up hitting this crate. But with another new character, you know what that means. More timeline levels! At least Ship Happens is a nice example of traversal tip 5. Whenever the game tells you to go one way, always check the opposite first. Also, fun fact, Cortex's dash has a hitbox which can clip through crates and walls alike. In fact, this entire last section of dashing through nitro crates can both Sugma and Ligma. It's bad enough doing narrow platforming, but the nitros also jump, so you better hope that it doesn't happen at random. It feels like us getting like a rhinestone Bandicoot for collecting over half of the 228 gems was out of pity rather than anything we did ourselves. But you know what we ain't had for a while?
A fun time?
No, silly, we haven't had a chase sequence. So to make up for this, we get 2 more with the dinosaurs. It's actually one played twice over a normal level on a Dingo Dial timeline, but it's a chase sequence. And at the end of it, we find the final Quantum Mask having a snooze in an old dino nest. With Ika Ika now rounding out the Quantum Mask siblings, we should be able to close up all the rifts, but before we do that, Entropy and the Rift Generator need to be put out of commission. We may have had our ups and downs getting here, but now the end of this adventure is in sight. Once we're aboard one of the spaceships in Entropy's fleet, we end up running into Tora again, who found a lost and confused Dingo Dial wandering around. The nice reunion is cut short as blaring over the ship's tannoy comes the sound of nitrous oxide, having orders barked at him by Entropy and... Entropy? Well, I guess Entropy has found the perfect partner for their plans, and maybe life partner? questions for later. Right now, all that matters is getting to that rift generator in Out for Launch, which Ika can help with, since their mask power-up is the ability to flip gravity. You can do it twice before touching the ground again, meaning you can travel some huge distances once you master it. Just be careful where you do decide to flip gravity. What?! Meanwhile, instead of chasing down trouble, Cortex instead plans to buy us time by stopping any ships leaving the fleet in, without a doubt, the worst Cortex level in the game. And it's not even close. First of all, the hidden gem. We only managed to see it because we screwed up this dash into a pile of crates. If you don't see it, there's no indication that just walking off back into this 2D section is even allowed. Even if you do make that dash, you can't use the shortcut it provides and have to backtrack anyway to get it. Next is said 2D section. The jumps themselves are fine. Everything else about them is not. Not only do the asteroids have hitboxes way bigger than what you see, but the crashers have a terrible problem where if you so much as touch the bottom of them, they'll kill you even if they won't actually crush you. So now you've got a simple jump made into a tight timing mess that's worse than trying to thread a needle in an earthquake. But we're not done yet! You know Cortex's blaster and how it turns enemies into blocks? Well, now it also turns enemies into blocks that you can walk through. Why does it do this? No reason. And it's only for this level, and only sometimes in this level, so good luck guessing when that'll happen. But then we get to the room. This is where that dash Cortex has goes from being fun to fucking annoying in a picosecond, and it's all because of that little hover he does. Trying to time these dashes across long distances and fast-moving platforms while also trying to time it so the damn hover doesn't screw you over, and collecting the two boxes placed at opposite ends of the room is a pain in the arse. And the reward for finishing that section? More than half of the crash section to play, but this time with tiny jumps to make between bouncing nitros. But it's okay, not every level can be a banger. And it's done now, so we can move on. Having tracked down the trophies, before we can plan our attack, Torna ambushes Crash and Coco, tying them up. Does this mean we get another full Torna level? Nah, we just have to catch up to her by stowing away on Oxide's ship. Weirdly enough, this level isn't too tough. The damn bonus room is the trickiest thing here, but that's more to do with Toys for Bob not really understanding good level design on the exclamation crates. Hell, it would have been a full sweep if we'd have found the hidden gem. Now all that's left to do is stopping that rift generator. By the time we make it there, Torna's attempts to shut it down have been thwarted by the Entropy twins. Now riding that high of victory so close, they fling the gang across the far reaches of reality. But with a little help from Akano and Lani Loli, we're able to find our way back to the rift generator by following the trail of bumperberries. There's also a reward for collecting all of them with a slightly dated but fun meme, and more importantly, the achievement, whoa yeah! Then the team up of Kapunawa and Ika help us put an end to things once and for all. It's a bit of a shame that this fight is more of a set piece than actual fight, but now with the twins' time-twisting terrors stopped, the Quantum Masks get to work repairing the rifts, rewarding us with the achievement Twinsanity, and watch as the group plan a trip to Neo City in the Snacks Dimension for a celebratory dinner. While the bright upbeat music and mildly out-of-the-way hidden gem in Food Run might lull you in, don't be fooled. These levels have some very tricky platforming in them, and now we have all of the Quantum Masks, we get to use them all in a single level, which, now we think about it, is weird that it hasn't been done more before now. Honestly though, we really love this level, even when the wall run doesn't want to work right, or the soul-crushing feeling it gave us of missing a single crate after making it through. Fun fact, watching this footage back, we found where that crate was. It's this little guy in the final platforming section. Since we were focused on platforming and the fact that it was phased out along with the truck, we couldn't really see it. Now this level has crushed our soul twice. The penultimate level is one which probably could have just been 2 levels since it's a split between Torna and Dingodile. There's the usual cheeky bugger crates, but this is the level where we also learn that you can suck up nitro crates for some unknowable reason. And there are plenty of nitros towards the end of this section, which become quite the mess trying to grab all the boxes while avoiding the enemies and platforming on falling platforms. Torna's section is mostly long grind rail sections, trying to flitter your eyes between the oncoming traffic and the backgrounds for sudden R2 prompts. One tip though, when you reach this checkpoint, don't forget to break this stack of crates before you run off. Since the wall jump makes you break this checkpoint before you can break them, when you respawn here, those will too. Also, despite this being a big open area, the only thing that could be found further back here is punishment for exploring, so don't!
Finally, we've got to spend some more time with Cortex and all the fun problems his levels have. Mercifully, it's a nice short level though. But in a sudden but inevitable twist, Cortex betrays everyone when he realizes that if he goes back in time and stops Crash being created, none of his evil plans will ever get thwarted. We don't have time to think about the time travel paradoxes this would create either, since we're on a chaotic chase to the airship before it goes through the rift to head back to the far distant past of 1996. Down in the nitro processing plant, Crash and Coco are greeted by Cortex, who easily slipped back into his old base. Unfortunately, he's about to learn firsthand just how stubborn, annoying, and obstinate he can be when his past self shows up and refuses to listen to him, calling him an evil doppelganger. Let's just put a stop to this before something bad happens. This last set of stages are the culmination of all the skills you've hammered away at for the rest of the game. Also some very stupidly placed death planes and terrible hitboxes, which finally teach us the lesson we've been trying to avoid this whole game. Traversal tip 0. Do not try going for the 3 deaths gems, the hidden gem, and the box gem on your first attempt. Fighting their opposing gameplay styles makes for a much worse experience and drags the game out far longer than enjoyable. Once we stop caring about how many deaths the level takes and just focus on finding the crates and hidden gem, the rest of the level is actually a fun challenge. Sure, the flashback tape is like 80% of the way through the level, but that's a problem we can put off till later, along with the 3 deaths gem. Now, if we remember back from doing this in the first game, to get into the castle from here, we'll have to travel through the toxic tunnels. This level is home to the most daunting section in any level, the 4-colored gem path. Not only is this daunting path 4 sections of back-to-back difficult platforming, the section where most of the crates in the level are, home to the hidden gem for this level, and still hiding boxes in it, but of all the crates here, not one of them is a checkpoint. You're gonna have to do this flawlessly or fail over and over again. Let's break it down. First up is the green path. Good news, this has the trickiest jump in the whole section, so it's all downhill from here. Bad news, it's all still bloody difficult. The slide under a gap into double jump can be done all in one go. However, there are a couple of ways to make your life easier. Firstly, you don't have to do it all in one go, as you can stand in the middle of this gap to perform another slide from. But if you do end up over the water and know you're not gonna make it, you can just go back to the left to stand on the edge of the platform and slide from there too. Just remember to pick up the box on top of that wall, and the rest is pretty simple. The most important part of the red path is trying to remember the tips we've been telling you. When it comes to the platforming, try and save that mask as long as you can, and don't bounce on the TNT until you're ready to jump off that platform. Also, you'll probably encounter at least one BMD here because of that hitboxes on the cart spikes is just the entire face of the cart rather than only the spikes, which is to be expected at this point. Just ride along on any cart to avoid any problems. Lastly, don't wait around on any of the rising wall run platforms. You have a lot less time than you think you do. If you've got 96 or 101 crates so far, then you're good to move on. In the yellow path, don't get overexcited and slide into this rat like we did. Just inch closer and safely spin them. Much like the last section, don't wait around on things here either. If you're still on the metal pipe when it starts to swing left, it will shock you, so jump off a tad earlier and use your double jump if needed. The stupid TNT crate can eat your mask most of the time, but if you land back on it, slide back to the left to catch the pipe when it's not electrified. Now for the section which always feels like a crapshoot, the bouncing steel crate. You'll need to time your jump to when the steel crate is bouncing up, since you'll get caught if it's going down. It just moves too fast. You can at least make it so you'll only have to time this once by jumping over the stack of TNTs and then setting them off from the other side. Finally, the blue path. Congratulations! You've made it through the challenge and earned your reward, the hidden gem. But be careful, you still have the rest of the level to do and haven't reached a checkpoint yet. Honestly, this game gets a lot more fun when you stop caring about trying to do it in 3 or less deaths. You can try and fail and try again as much as you like. Also, yes, the flashback tapes have been getting further and further into the levels, but after more than an hour and just over 30 deaths, we're at the foot of Cortex's castle. Now, praise where praise is due. This is how you do a final level. A distilled series of game mechanics getting to make their own sections of a platforming challenge and then end with a flurry of switching masks to go over one last incredibly difficult but well checkpointed gauntlet is how you make a final level. Sure, the flashback tape may as well be next to the nitro detonator, but hey, consider that a reward for getting good at this level. Hell, even the Cortex level is about as good as any Cortex level could be. Making the platforming a 2D section with emphasis on the horizontal movement has made Cortex's playstyle almost enjoyable. Sure, some of the sections towards the end are a bit of a bitch when it comes to timing, and it could do with an extra checkpoint or two, but once it's done, there's just that Mars Gauntlet left with Crash to do, so we don't even have to replay most of the previous level. But now that we've finished all the timeline levels and got the whole picture, it's just one boss fight against Cortex like old times. It's a pretty decent fight too, dealing with all of the quantum mask powers being used against us and whatever assistance Cortex could get his hands on. Still, what has been will be again, so Cortex is defeated and sent very, very far away. Now we've set past Cortex free, we get to watch him run off giddily start his final experiment to make the general of his army. Yes, that explains why it didn't go to plan. You know, it's funny how time ends up feeling like a flat circle, isn't it? Oh, but speaking of time, with the 15-hour mark coming up and 34 achievements already picked up during our first playthrough, things are looking pretty good. Keeping that pace up, we'll be done in about another 7.5 hours. So now that we've finished the story and saved the world, beaten the bad guy, yada yada, before we start backtracking through the levels to pick up the 48 gems and flashback tapes we didn't collect the first time round, there are a few other achievements that'll be easy to pick off the list. Firstly, there are the 3 co-op modes the game has, where you can pass the controller between you and up to 3 people. However, there's no way for the game to know if you actually have other people with you, so we play through the first level a couple of times to get these. Plus, we're not even sure it'd be allowed to play this with someone else under the license agreements we had to agree to. While we sadly play through these co-op modes alone, let's talk about the bonus we get for completing the game. No, not the running shoes, the triple spin! Since the R2 button is being used for the mask power-ups, there isn't the option to have a run instead. So you rhythmically tap square somewhere in the 130 BPM ballpark, and your spin will not only give you a little momentum boost, but also grow in size. You can't spam square either. You have to press it right after the last spin finishes, or you get nothing. Now, while we were playing through the checkpoint race, we slide span 3 times in a row, which apparently was a triple spin. And since we also defeated an enemy with it, we unlock Show Off. Then shortly after, we pull off what we'd actually say is a triple spin to get Whoa. It's kind of fun we get to say that we beat an enemy with a triple spin before we'd actually performed one. The co-op stuff is nothing too special. Maybe it's fun if you're a social butterfly, but we didn't have that option. We did find a way to speed up this process by just dying over and over to skip through the level to nab Fleet of Feet for finishing the checkpoint race, settle the score for doing a crate combo game, and no, it's my turn for having pass and play turned on. Okay, that's the easy stuff out of the way to make the number go up and make us happy. Let's check our handy dandy spreadsheet to see what we're missing. It should just be 48 gems, most of them deaths, and the 14 flashback tapes. Shouldn't be too bad, so let's get cracking. The gems we've got to go for are the box gems in the levels Hit the Road, Truck Stopped, Hook, Line and Sinker, Give It a Spin, Potion Commotion, Dragon On, Off Balance, Run It By You, No Dillo-Dallying, Food Run and Rush Hour. These ranged from baffling on how we didn't get them the first time around to bewildering at why the fuck the crates are hidden where they are. Remember that one we said we'd get back to in Off Balance? Well, it's here. This thing is placed more out of the way than most levels' hidden gem. But guess what? That wasn't even the worst of it. Don't know if that's all of them though. I don't know if that's enough. I think that's one off. Yeah, that's 2 off again. Where are these 2 shitty hidden boxes? Definitely got all of these. There's definitely not anything up here, right? There's definitely not anything. No. Oh! I found the 2 boxes! Speaking of hidden gems, we've got to hunt for the ones in Give It a Spin, Off Balance, No Dillo-Dallying, Building Bridges, Fossil Fueled, and Stowing Away, which, incidentally, were just as infuriating to search for. Lastly, the dreaded 3 or less Deaths gem. We've still got to get that in A Real Grind, Truck Stopped, Booty Calls, Dahi Blows, Hook, Line and Sinker, Jetboard Jetty, Give It a Spin, Off Balance, Off Beat, Home Cooking, Run It By You, No Dillo-Dallying, Snow Way Out, Ship Happens, Stay Frosty, Bears Repeating, Building Bridges, Blast of the Past, Fossil Fueled, Rock Blocked, Out for Launch, Shipping Error, Food Run, Rush Hour, The Great Escape, Nitro Processing, Toxic Tunnels, Cortex Castle, and Seeing Double. for the record, that was 30 out of the 38 levels. The only saving grace for these was that if we didn't have any other gems to go for, we could just run through the level as fast as possible. Which does help, unless that level happens to be called Shipping Error, which took us almost a fucking hour because of that Cortex section. Oh, but let's not forget that Booty Calls, Offbeat, Run It By You, Snow Way Out, Stay Frosty, Bears Repeating, Dino Dash, Out for Launch, Stowing Away, Food Run, Nitro Processing, Toxic Tunnels, and Cortex Castle all have flashback tapes to collect too. Considering that flashback tapes move further and further into the level, that means we're basically playing some of these levels nearly entirely deathless. Now, while that might not have taken long to list off, actually doing it took us over 11 hours. And we only came away with a single stinking achievement to show for it in King of Bling, for getting all 228 gems. Good news though, there are 2 more achievements that are now available, and it involves those 21 flashback tapes we've been collecting. They're experiment logs from back when Cortex was working out which animal he wanted to have as the general of his armies. Hell, it's even where we get to see where Crash got their addiction to breaking crates and love of Wumpa Fruit from. The flashback levels are very akin to the old Embryo and Cortex bonus stages from the first game, and even come with some music tracks from the original trio too. Once we finish the first one of these, we're bestowed with Model Test Subject. Well, that's the first of these 2 achievements we said we could get. The second one is for finishing all of these flashback levels perfectly. Christ, talk about going from 0 to 100. Right, so let's talk about what perfect in this context is. You've got 3 medals you can be awarded for finishing these flashback levels. Sapphire is just like the Sapphire Relic for time trials. You tried and finished, and that's about it. In order to get the gold or platinum flashback medals, you'll need to break 90 and 100% of the crates respectively. There's no death counters to worry about, and a checkpoint about halfway through most of these platforming challenges, but don't get complacent with it. From literally the second level onwards, you'll not only be searching high and low for these crates, but also needing to work out the right sequence to break everything. We could talk more about each of these levels individually, but honestly, aside from the lack of difficulty progression, they are as a whole a solid 2D platforming challenge that ranges from forgettable to fun if the mechanics were tightened up. That is until we get to the last 2. These last 2 are beyond fucking terrible. Let's ignore the overly strict jumps you have to figure out timings for that you only get 1 attempt at. Let's ignore the use of flame crates, which objectively add nothing but wasting time as you have to stand around till they aren't on fire. No. We need to talk about this section right here. What the actual fuck, Toys for Bob? How do you fuck up something like this? You synced up the nitro bounces, but didn't think that maybe, just maybe, you should sync up the flame crates with it? Oh, but you thought having unlimited time to do this with was easy? Well, try doing it with a cutting timed crate platform too! Absolute dog shit design, terrible planning, and having to practically guess if you'll be lucky enough to get a cycle that lets you continue ruins the entire level. Oh, and we hope you didn't accidentally hit the TNT before this while trying to spin up to the platform because the spin hitbox is wildly wrong. But your reward for doing all this? Even more stupidly tight timing platforming and backtracking to have to figure out. Better hope you didn't fuck that up and have to do those nitro bounce slides again. No exaggeration, the previous 19 experiments took us roughly 160 minutes to complete, so a touch over 8 minutes on average. This little took us a full 50 minutes! And then there's the gauntlet. Overly long sections of waiting around for TNT crates to explode are boring, but that's a minor footnote compared to what we want to look at. Let's talk about the interaction that happens when you time a spin perfectly onto a bounce crate. If Crash or Coco is spinning when landing on a steel bounce crate, it won't actually fling you into the air. It's never explained or shown or expected of you, and we've used this trick a couple of times to give us a little more time to think. This mechanic is required because of the other crate that was introduced, bounce crates which turn into nitros after several bounces. Now there's a whole other spiel about how these turn sections into a crawl because you have to make them nitros for the crate count, but let's forget about that. See these steel crates? We need enough height to get up there to slam them, and in order to do that, you can jump off the edge of this nitro bounce crate to then land on top of the pile and easily get the height you need. Wanna know how we figured this out? We didn't. We had to look this shit up because nowhere else in the game is this ever required. Oh, and before you start saying, well, you don't have to do that, you just have to hit that precise jump on the edge of the crates perfectly in 2 tries or less, we retort with a resounding no. Going into the next section is another another Kaizo exclamation crate you won't know what to do with until it's too late. So you'll have to do that crazy precise bounce again, and then every time afterwards when you screw up. After 160 minutes of fun and 80 minutes of frustration, we can finally move on now that we're closing the experiment log. Yes! Closing the experiment log! Fuck that last level. Fuck you, Toys for Bob. Don't ever put mechanics in the game that feel like you're breaking what you already established. Especially with that shit. Fuck you. Give me my goddamn trophy. So what's left to do on the cleanup? Well, we've got some bad news. There is a lot left to do. In fact, we're only about halfway done. See, when we defeated Embryo so many hours ago, there was something else unlocked. Inverted mode. Inverted mode is, in a word, padding. In 2 words, terrible padding. In many words, inverted mode is playing through all the levels in the game again, but this time there are 2 changes made. The first is that each hub world provides a wacky new effect to the graphics. These range from neat little gimmicks like the sonar for the Insanity Island, to eye candy like the color splashes from the Salty Wharf, to migraine-inducing like the Eggipus pencil coloring, or outright terrible like the speed up and slow down effects of the Marsh and Snacks dimension. The other changes are the maps are flipped horizontally, so if you'd go left in the normal version, now you'll go right. You could say they've been inverted! You get it? Yeah?
What a dramatic and crazy change that totally makes playing the levels again so much fun!
No, but seriously, all the crates are in the same spot, so since we've already gotten the box gems for all the normal levels, we can just look back at the footage to check where any hidden crates are, cause there are another 6 gems to get in each level to double the total to a beyond reasonable 456! Oh, but there is one other difference. Is that the... What? What do you mean that's the hidden gem? Yeah, the hidden gems are in a new location. We're not going to talk through most of the inverted levels, since the irony of padding the script talking about all these levels isn't lost on us. If you're curious how the next 17 hours go, just watch the first 44 minutes of this video again, but in a mirror. We do have to mention, though, that we got It's Messing With My Head Man for finishing any inverted stage, Beat 'em Any Which Way for defeating a boss in inverted mode, for collecting another 228 gems, and Backwards and Forwards for finally finishing every level and every boss in inverted mode. Having now played through every level quite literally back to front and drumming those layouts into our head, we're well prepared for the time trials. Right? Alright, we're going round the block a 3rd time, but now we've got to collect the platinum relics from the time trials. Yes, you did hear that right. Not the gold relics, the platinum relics. And this isn't for our own personal pride. No, the gold standard isn't good enough here. Toys for Bob are going to make you really work for it. So rather than repeat ourselves going through every level again in the same order, we're going to rank these levels from easiest to hardest. We'll keep things short and sweet for the most part, but before we get into the rankings, let's go over the main talking points common to every level to get those out the way. Screw you, Toys for Bob! All of these were fucking terrible! Fuck you for that crappy carpal tunnel-inducing triple spin that could have just been the crash dash when you didn't have a mask power. Fuck you for changing crates to nitros and TNT for no reason. Fuck you for making abusing Aku Aku invincibility a requirement for some levels, so now you've got to do a fast, damageless run. Fuck needing platinum relics instead of the gold like any other games, and fuck the damn strict times on them too. Just because your dev times were well under the plat times because you know this game down to its fucking code doesn't mean that players should have to too. Oof. Sorry, where did that come from? Anyway, let's start with... It's unsurprising that a level built with momentum in mind ends up being the easiest. Akano's movement just gets even better with the triple spin, since timing it right carries what normally would be a short burst of speed into an almost constant movement that lets you carve off huge chunks of this level. Considering Give It a Spin was designed to have you make these leaps and bounds just slower, doing it faster not only feels like the level is helping you achieve this, but even cheering you on while you do. It's almost a shame you'll be done with this level so quickly. You're kidding me. That's a first try? That's an actual first proper try?
That was easy as shit! Any level where you aren't playing as Crash or Coco already has some interesting elements to them, since you don't have that slide or triple spin to build up much speed. As a result, Hook, Line, and Sinker ends up being less of a time trial and more of a damageless run using iframes to run through any obstacles. Sure, naming the hook shot still fucking sucks, but if that's the trade-off for this level, we'd take that any day.
Okay. Fuck that level, 1602. If it gives me higher than that, the game doesn't track its fucking timer properly. It doesn't track its timer properly. There's a plus 0.3 on it. That is even worse than the others. Shave 10 seconds off for a time for Bob? No. Fuck off. Oh, that's right. We forgot to mention that the timer for these time trials isn't exactly accurate, shall we say. But that concludes the 2 easy levels in the game. Having these 2 almost back-to-back so early on into the game means that once you finish this, you know it's all downhill from here. 2 down, 36 to go. Crash Compactor already starts off slapping you upside the head if you thought that just go fast was all you'll need to do for these time trials. Because of the timing on the literal first obstacle in the level, just rushing forward means you'll run right into the flamethrower. You'll learn to make the phrase less haste more speed your mantra, since this level's time requirement is very strict, but with a huge number of time crates in the level, you'll be able to clear things up once you've got a route planned out. Just remember to give those flamethrowers and chainsaws a wide berth. There we go. Look at that! Nice and fucking simple. Easy. Fuck off, Bob.
As we already said, playing as Torna means there's no triple spin to worry about. But this also applies to any Crash sections where you can't triple spin. While Torna's section of Truck Stopped is a tad annoying, you're basically expected to walk through all your problems with damage boosts and the abundance of masks this level provides. What's great is that when you get back to Crash, you're stuck in the cage the whole time, so the level is an auto-scroller for most of the time, and your only time save is from finding the time crates along the path and avoiding the bunch of TNTs that now litter it. Also, fun fact, you don't actually need to hold down on the controller. Crash will just walk forward, so it literally is an auto-scroller.
Yes, got it. That's a 1789, I think. If my guess is correct, 1789. Fuck it. Good enough.
Considering we liken Dingo Dial to Torna so much in terms of mechanics, their differences really start to show up in the time trials. Not really for the better though, since aiming those TNTs under time pressure is a lot harder than finding the right spot to hit R2. With that in mind, Dahi Blows with Dingo Dial is about as simple as it gets, leaving you with a Crash section that's just a simple damage boost through to the finish line. A perfect example of you'll try, but not too hard.
You're a bitch, game. You're a fucking bitch. There we go. That's it, right? Easy. 24 seconds. Sugma Ligma, Toys for Bob.
Cycles, man. It's the cycles. It's all about the cycles. And no, it's not just a, oh, mistime the start and you gotta reset kind of cycle, though that is true here. No, you gotta keep the cycle throughout the whole of Insanity Peak till the chase section. Weirdly enough, though, going too fast is also a bit of a problem, since the most crucial time crates are on an off cycle to the left in the Lani Loli room. Once you get those, though, the plat is all but in the bag.
Hey, see, I told you that was all the time saved I needed. 3 + 3 + 3, sorry. Because there was 3 others, there was those 3 others there that I missed. It was 1 crates that were in, there were 3 1 crates. But there we go. Second one done, and that one took like 20 minutes.
When it came to these rankings, we were surprised that home cooking ended up as high as it did given everything else we'd experienced with both Dingo and Torna up to this point. The reason for this is that with so many enemies and explosives to have to deal with, the aiming becomes a tad more hectic. This level having an ample supply of masks and some nice shortcuts though, does mean that you should be getting this platinum relatively quickly though.
Please, 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 please. Oh wait, no, I had tons of time. Never mind, I had tons of time. That was a 57. Yeah, that was easy. Never mind. Fuck you. No, I'm not going for the faster time.
Talking about levels we're surprised at their placement, you'd think that the ice levels with ice physics and all the kerfuffle that entails would make the time trials a nightmare. Stay Frosty, though, is not only on the shorter side for a level, but there are barely any icy patches to worry about. Sure, there are some tricky jumps to make at the end of the level, but even then, with Kapuna Wa to assist, they are far easier than any of the other platforming you'd be expected to do this late into the game.
Oh, easy. What the hell? Why was that so easy? What? That was easy! Why was that easy? I'm not going for Toys for Bob. You can fuck off.
Despite how hectic and obstacle-packed Offbeat looks, this level is not as bad as it may initially appear, especially once you realize that you can spin just about every single enemy in the level out of your way. Given as well that about a third of this level is on rails and therefore all you need to worry about is making sure you hit the time crates, the most difficult thing you'll find is the hitboxes on the musical ghosts and their projectiles. You might want to throw your controller at the wall from time to time, but at least the level looks and sounds pretty. Good enough, baby!
Fuck you! Terrible level. I am not going for the Bob time.
Which brings us to the end of the group which you could describe with a blanket statement of easy levels. Not always fun, keep in mind, but ones that don't cause any problems to go through. Is it a bad sign that it's only 9 levels, or are we just bad at this? Has our practice with Stormy Ascent and Future Tense meant nothing? Or the many hours we've been playing this game? Maybe we've just got to get to grips with what this game's mechanics are. Yeah, that's probably it. As Tawna and Dingodile's last level, we're giving quite the long goodbye to them in Rush Hour. Seriously, the platinum time here is 3 minutes 40. This level isn't about finding time to save, but rather just trying to survive the entire thing. If you make it to Tawna's section, you're pretty much in the clear too, since most of her section is rail grinding and the hell that is that traffic section at the end. Sure, it's harrowing to die and have to restart with Dingodile, but really, there isn't much to say about this level. It ended up being a bit of a nothing burger for a time trial.
Doesn't even break those crates on the other thing. Easy fucking peasy, let's go. I hate Food Rush. Or Rush Hour, whatever the hell this level was. I don't even care to know the name. Fuck off, am I doing it faster, Toys for Bob, you bastards. I did it on one level, I ain't doing it again.
Remember Insanity Peak and Crash Compactor and how if you screw up the start of the level, you're gonna have a bad time? Well, Blast to the Past is that, but way worse. Since so much of this level is a vine grind, you'll have very limited options for finding time to save with cycles. Add on top a strict time limit too, and you may as well restart if you slow down for even half a second in the opening. Luckily for you, when you time this opening right, you can practically just run right through, and getting 3 masks is easy, so you can keep your thumbstick forward for the other on-foot sections. Now just string it all together once, and you'll earn that platinum relic.
Fuck you! That's done! Easy. So easy. Fuck you, game. Fuck you. Easy. Done.
When we got to Bears Repeating, we won't lie, we were scared. The grind rail sections are one thing where you've just got to get good at timing, but the polar bear, that annoying little who you'll have to boost with because you're on a time limit, while trying to steer into the time crates and not die and have to go right back to the start of the level? It's, actually fine-ish. Admittedly, the time requirement is a bit tight, but you have plenty of space to boost with the bear and not many crates you're gonna hit while doing so. Guess the bear is more bark than bite here.
Get the fuck up. I think that's too long. I'm pretty sure that's too long. I'm pretty sure that's a gold by like 2 seconds. It's gold. It's gold. It's not gold! It's not gold! It's a 29! 1:29:01! We had 1800ths of a second! And I fucking did it!
With the Tawna section of Potion Commotion only having 31 crates in it, you're gonna have to get creative to find time to save before you get to enjoy Arcano again. You do have to be a little careful if you get too fast here though, because the last platform's trigger might not get hit if you go too quickly, so again, less haste, more speed. The new crate placements for the Crash section, alongside with all the things you're gonna have to do with Tawna, is why there is such a huge discrepancy between this level and Give It a Spin. At least we didn't have to hear every time we died.
That's easy! That was so easy! Why was that one so easy? Hell yeah! Easy! Do I give a shit about you, Toys for Bob? No! Get the fuck out of here!
Thanks to Dingodile's long-distance hover, learning how to skip most of the opening auto-scroller sections with well-timed jumps and crate bounces means that no dillo-dallying is a very simple opener followed by another auto-scroller section with Crash. Since there's no way to skip past this one, you just have to focus on time crates and not screwing up that damn jetboard section. It's difficult, doable, but not really that rewarding to pull off.
Hey! That's it! With 9 seconds to spare. We're done. Fuck off, am I doing that 5 seconds faster? A level with long corridors to get a ton of practice doing slide spin chains in, no cycle-based platforming to have to time or skip, and a short enough level to not overstay its welcome, Out for Launch is one of the few levels we actually enjoyed getting good at. Don't get us wrong, the 2D sections are annoying as fuck with the damn insta-kill lasers, but even if you take that section more conservatively, you'll have a bunch of time to bank in those corridors. Yes, it's difficult, but damn does this feel rewarding to pull off. That better be it. That better be it. That better be it. I don't remember what the time was I had to go for. Please. Please. Yes. Thank you. If there's one thing that Out for Launch was missing, it's getting to use the new masks to their fullest potential with these time trials. Then along comes Food Run and gives you so many opportunities to flex those features. From using the time slowing to better make jumps on crates to skip platforms, feathering the gravity and skipping infuriating wall runs, or blasting through huge gaps at speed with Arcano, this level is short, sweet, and surprisingly lax with its time requirement too. Hell, we ignored most of the time crates and still came away comfortably with the Platinum Relic. Maybe all it took was 32 levels for us to get to grips with these time trials. Is that time? That might be. I think it was 140, or is it 130? Please don't be a 130. Please. Hey! It was in a 140s. Booty Calls is very much like Crash Compactor. It's a series of tight timing platforming sections you'll need to thread the needle to make it through. It's a good teacher of one mechanic though, the slide spin, as this will not only get you across gaps that you'd normally hop over, but also helps build up your speed. Having it be a requirement while dealing with the enemies also moving between said gaps is a bit annoying though. The major downside of Booty Calls is that there aren't many time crates, so all that tight timing you've got to do is compounded by the need to do it first try or not at all. I thought that was the end of the level there, but it's not. But it's fine because we still... No, wait, it's 55. No, it's 59, 56. I thought it was 56, 59. I'm not having fun. Man, you want to talk about how surprising some of these rankings are? It really shocked us when we found the penultimate level being down this low on the list. The reason is simple though. No matter how tight the platforming, almost all of it is in your control in Cortex Castle. All the little skips and tricks in this level aren't there demanding you perform them, but rather they're being made by you, the player. It's not about cycles or some auto-scroller section you've got to work around. Yeah, it's ridiculously hard, but it's all in your hands, and so damn good to get good at that final section. Just be careful if you're going to skip through this laser, as the death plane around Kapuna Wa is... What? Well, it's so fucking badly placed. Oh, what's that? A fucking easy time? Fuck this level! We're done! Show me that Toys for... Fuck you. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Fuck this level. I kind of wanted the Toys for Bob time, but I'm not going to go back and play it again, because I'm going to go back and play it again! Maybe we've been too hard on these time trials. Sure, they've been hard, but we've always found a way through. Hell, we've even had some fun here and there with these levels. Maybe they're not difficult but doable. Maybe it's been difficult but rewarding. Well, those levels might have been, but this next batch? Oh, no. These levels are nothing but... It's a rather rude awakening starting up the time trials with the first level in the game and getting consistently and very mercilessly told to fuck off and do better. Due to how short this level is, and that includes a rail grind section, you have very little option for finding ways to claw the little time save in and around the level. From these super tight jumps just for a few seconds of time save, to having to learn the triple spin, to putting that all together in such a short time frame, we were actually thinking about how to turn this video into a "this game broke us" kind of thing during the 52 minutes this took us to beat. Especially when after beating this level, we get the somewhat ominously named achievement, Faster Than a Tortoise. Fuck you! First level is done! How long did that take? That took like an hour. Oh dear. But hey, that's faster than a tortoise! One down, 37 to go. Hey, so remember how nice Truck Stop was to do the time trial on? Well, that's entirely because you don't have to do the monstrous crash section before the truck chase. With so many sections based on cycles you can't even see till you're at them, you're gonna have to just hope that by the time you make it to the ropes, you're not struggling on them and can get a good cycle. Even if you can, fun fact, none of the large things that chase you in any of the chase sections will count as breaking time crates, even though they clearly do. So you're now gonna have to hope you can grab whatever crates you can in the chase sections, while jumping rapidly through the watery parts to avoid slowing down as much as possible. If you can pull it all off though, you might have gotten the platinum. Please, 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 please. Fuck you! Fuck off. Actually, fuck off. Looking back at it, that deathless, crateless run on Dragon On was good for us. Not for preparing us for what we'd have to go through in this long and punishing level, but rather how to deal with having to restart a level over and over for one goddamn collectible. What is nice about this level is there is so much headroom on the platinum time that you can focus more on just not dying in the 2D sections rather than trying to go fast through it. And hey, it's a long level with a Carno, so we'll pretend that makes up for the pain this level has inflicted on us. There we are, and done. There we go. That's under the time frame. Fuck off, I'm not doing it 10 seconds faster. A lot of Dino Dash isn't actually that bad. Sure, it's the level with the final chase sequence in it, but the reason this level is so high up the tier list is entirely because of a single section. This lava section. Traversing against the direction of crumbling platforms while also having to deal with the stupid fucking sliding sections where you can't jump to save yourself as it throws you straight down into the lava, which is an insta-kill by the way, so any masks you have mean jack shit. There is zero forgiveness with these cycles too, and it will make or break a run even if you do get past it. If you are forced to wait around, then you aren't gonna meet that platinum requirement. This is genuinely one of those levels where it feels like luck rather than skill to beat. Easy. Fucking easy. Let's go. Nice and simple, nice and easy. Haha, I win. Fuck off. If the first level in the game was a rude awakening, a real grind is the level which really hammered home just how much of a grind these time trails were gonna be. Because so much of this level is introducing the grind rails, all the platforming you have to do between it is so much tighter. We've said this before, but this time you're also adding in a need for invincibility just because trying to wait on cycles in the final 2D section takes too long. Though not a teacher of the slide spin, if you're able to pull it off alongside Lanny Lowly switches, you're able to do some pretty crazy things here. At least the level is short and painful rather than long and tedious. Or worse, long and painful. Boosh! 3 seconds under. That's all I need. Oh, it's all I needed. Fuck off, am I doing that 12 seconds faster? Actually, wait, no, there's a secret fourth thing a level can be. It can be frustratingly obnoxious. That's the only real way we can describe Jetboard Jetty. It feels like you should be able to do so much more with all these 2D sections, but they never quite feel like you'd want it to, so you just end up sitting there with these soul-crushing cycles over and over. If you wait around on these cycles, you're screwed. If you miss time your jump to skip the cycles, like you have to, you're screwed. Manage to recover but lose too many masks in the process, well, you're screwed. And have fun timing your opening section to swinging ropes and fire crates so far off in the distance. Please tell me I do not have to do Louis in 7 seconds. I don't. At least Jetboard Jetty isn't running by you, which is just Jetboard Jetty, but even longer. And now the Jetboard sections are hellish cycle-based messes, the auto-scrolling 2D section is longer, and there's even more chances to get fucked over by nitro crates that are being carried by those annoying little black fuckers. That's fine. Alright, sweet, that's done. That's done. I hate running by you. Coming in at the 2/3 mark is Torna's worst level by far. Building bridges. Why this level is so cruel and punishing is not only due to the crash section being far worse than bears repeating with its new crate placements you'll be swerving for, but actually more the Torna section itself. The final section works on cycles we still have no clue the proper timing for, and we're convinced the devs intended you to damage boost through them even on the normal level, let alone the damn time trial. So now you're trying to time cycles for rope swings with getting time crates with the hook shot before having to deal with the damn awful wall jump sections. And provided you do make it through all of that, you better hope you don't fuck up the polar bear section missing too many time crates, because there is no wriggle room on the time requirement. That's it. Done. Get the fuck up, Crash! Ah! Fuck you! What makes stowing away such a cruel level isn't a whole lot of the platforming itself. It's the fact that this level goes from being terribly vicious thanks to the awful insta-kill lasers you'll have to slide under to avoid and the bullshit that is trying to figure out those hitboxes, to then suddenly being one of the easiest levels in the game. By the time you make it to the Arcano section, any challenge in this level is pretty much gone. It builds up to this cruel challenge you'll have to work hard to overcome and then leaves you hung out to dry with no satisfying or rewarding conclusion. At least this level could be nice enough to pay our cab fare.
Oh, plenty of time. Plenty of time. I didn't have to worry about that level. Nice. Done.
Following on with that, it's not just difficult, it's also boring. No Way Out comes in just shy of the top 10. It put up a hell of an argument to be put in there though, with terrible ice physics stripping away your ability to make precise jumps in the level, cycles you've got to make work yourself by constantly spamming the slow time power up for most of the damn level, and an overall unfun feeling to it. No Way Out's attempt to bore and frustrate us to death wasn't quite enough to dethrone these final 10 levels from the top 10.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Done.
Off Balance kicks off that top 10 due to the sheer amount of skips and platforming you have to do. This is the level where Arcano's triple spin goes from being a neat way to keep your speed up to a requirement for cutting off most of the level's corners. Throw in the Lani Loli wall running sections and the overall length of this level makes it one of the hardest levels of the time trials from a platforming requirement, and the strict relic time doesn't help either.
Pretty sure I've got 10 seconds to play with here, so that should be good. Unless it was 21, in which case then I'm really sad, but I'm pretty sure it was 28. 28 was right! Fuck you, Toys for Bob. No, I am not going for your bonus time.
Okay, so we just went on about how Off Balance is such a hard level, but then we put it at only number 10? Why is Rockblocked worse? Dingodile levels have been on the lower end of this tier list, so this one being so far off from the median sounds concerning. Well, maybe it's just that crash section. You know, the one with that terrible lava section from Dino Dash that you've got to do again. Yeah, that's gotta be it. Dingodile's our favourite here. That section can't be bad. Even if it does have a ton of invisible walls in the 2D section, which makes trying to cut corners impossible and feel fucking atrocious. Even if this level is so awfully long it takes over a minute and a half just to get to the crash section, only to then lose in that damn lava and having to do it all over again. Even if this level took us over an hour trying to get through this level because of how painfully slow the level design is.
Easy, done. It's done. It was a 39, not a 40, but fuck you, game, whatever.
You know, we finally get it. For 30 levels, we've been trying to believe that Toys for Bob couldn't have screwed this up this badly. These times couldn't have been this terrible. The pacing can't be that bad. It must have been us. We needed to learn the game better, work out what the devs wanted us to do. But no, these last 8? This tier is just pain. There's nothing enjoyable here. It's just pain. The worst part, though, it's not even just because of the levels. There are some truly unacceptable levels of bullshittery going on here, and it all comes from the hitboxes. Be that enemies or levels, they all fucking suck. Coming in at the top of this tier and the number 8 overall is Nitro Processing, the level which perfectly encapsulates the entire point of this tier. As a level this far into the game, you'd expect it to be a difficult platforming challenge, and while it is, that's not what makes this level terrible. It's entirely the level design. Let's start with, well, the start, and this cat. The electric grasshopper fucks and their terrible hitboxes are so bad that the only advice we have for them is to steer clear of them entirely, and even then go a little bit further just to make sure you avoid that stupid hitbox. Oh, and you better make sure you're rushing right from the start of the level, or the cycle the first enemy does will screw you over. But don't get too comfortable. Once you make it past this and deal with the terrible rat bastards who'll always hit a damn stack of nitros, if you get too fancy with Ika Ika, you're gonna get fucked over by the infuriatingly shit death planes this level has. Survive all that and you get the fun experience of more electric grasshoppers, awful wall running sections with spike wheels that instantly kill you rather than just take a fucking mask, and this. Why is there an invisible wall that fucking far? Whoever put this stupid invisible fucking wall right here,
I hope your pillow is always warm and lumpy. We can't even enjoy the idea of running along the edge of the waterways because of the stupid fucking hitboxes on these wheel things. The best thing about this level is the fact that when it's done, there are only 3 levels left.
Easy! Oh, not bad. Not a bad way to start things off, huh?
So for everyone who's been keeping track, you might have noticed there's a certain selection of levels that haven't cropped up yet. That's because Cortex and every single level of his are, with only 2 exceptions, the worst levels in the entire fucking game. Ship Happens was our first experience of this, and dear fucking god, saying this is the best of the bunch should say a lot considering the Nitro Crate needle threat is still just as painful, but the main issue is because Cortex's core mechanics suck for the time trials. Having to double tap every enemy because you need the bouncy platforms in the 2D sections suck. Having to wait on enemy positions so you can actually reach those fucking platforms with the piddly ass jumps sucks. Trying to aim the fucking gun sucks. We can't even say that going back to the crash level afterwards is much better this time, because Snow Way Out now goes from being boring to, oh god, please don't fuck up or we have to go back to the fucking Cortex section.
Fuck you! God-awful Cortex level. Yeah, fuck off, am I gonna do that quickly? You can actually sug my ligma.
Oh, but wait, it gets worse! Shipping error and that entire catastrophe might come as a surprise being here at only 6, but that's due to the fact that the crash section is almost fair by comparison. Everything you do with Cortex, though, is a fucking mess like we'd already talked about. Shout out this time to the room, though. It's nice of the devs to not make those time crates. The rest of the level can fuck off into a bin, though, with all that stupid-ass vertical platforming mess.
Done. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you! This is the worst Cortex level in the fucking game! Piss off! Done!
Oh, but wait, it still gets worse! What if instead of doing half of a level, you had to do an entire level as Cortex? What if it had terrible cycles you need to hit while trying to platform with this terrible jump dash? What if you had to do terrible vertical platforming with cycles you'll have to try and make super precise jumps to hit and have decent times on? What if you also had to do some super precise aiming on cycles? What if the blaster didn't work all the time because the fucking hitbox on the projectiles are too fucking big? There are 0 redeeming qualities or even features in Fossil Fueled. At all. Please, do yourself a favor, look up some older speedruns of this level to find decent skips before you tear your hair out trying to get this platinum relic.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you! Sugma, ligma, fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. Hate you, hate you, hate you! Bad, awful level.
When it comes to hard levels, many would look to Toxic Tunnels and can easily put that right to the top of the pile, and for good reason. With a hellish colored gem section you need to do Deathless and find all the crates in for the hidden and box gems, it is certainly a bugger of a level. But this is the time trial. That whole section is completely ignored, so cutting out that difficult chunk should make this level easier, right? Wrong. Not only do you have to deal with cylindrical platforms for so much of the level, but the cycles. Holy fucking shit, the cycles. We have no idea what the fuck is wrong with this level, but multiple times we were on a good pace, and then the game decides that, actually, you know what? Fuck you and your time trial. That steel pipe is gonna reset itself. Normally we'd have told you that if you're stuck, don't worry, here's some advice or skip that you can do for this level, but there is exactly 1 point in this whole level where you can actually get ahead of the Platinum Ghost. You can't even try and copy the cycles it's on because they're so wildly out of sync it's diabolical. You get one shot about halfway through the level to claw back some kind of a lead, and that is it. If it wasn't for those awful fucking cycles, dismal hitboxes on the carts, strict time limit, and baffling shit the game pulls, this level might almost have been fun. It'd have also been a completely different level though.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck off! Ha ha ha!
We can avoid it no longer. We've tried, believe me. But we've got to face the facts. We're going to have to talk about Crash Landed.
To put it simply, Crash Landed is the worst level, not just in this game, but the worst level from this game and any of the original 3 Crash games. Pick your least favorite aspect about any of them, and you'll find it here. Ice physics? Bountiful. Lengthy level? Oh, you bet it is. Infuriating death planes? Of course. How about a riding section with shitty box placements over jumps you need to boost at the right moment for, and during icy sections too? Oh, game, you spoil us, you really do. And not in the good way. This level soured our experience every time we had to play it. Be that our first time through with its Kaizo-like punishing design leading to almost 40 deaths before we finished, to the agonizing attempts of going back and playing this level so many times, hoping to find 3 crates and survive long enough to get the 3 deaths before the end, and then having to do it again in the cutting inverted version. But now we're here again for the time trial, and it's just so much worse. Now we're trying to deal with whatever the fuck this squishy little prick is during the soul-crushingly tedious auto-running sections, and being punished every time you so much as think about dashing in it. Having to cling to the masks wherever you can for the invincibility to ignore all of the unfucked sections, only to know that they do next to nothing in the riding sections. And to crown this glorious achievement of the tragedy that is this level, it comes with its own unique glitch to fuck you over with. How would you like to deal with the shitty ice physics in the air? We didn't know this at the time, but apparently this occurs when you reach a certain vent in the level. So you better pray to fuck that you don't end up having this happen to you, because if it does, you've got less than a second to figure that out, adjust, and land somewhere safe, or you can kiss that run goodbye. The only way this could be worse is if you had to play as Cortex.
Okay, you, to fuck this level. And that's a toys for Bob. Of course this is the level. Okay. I hate this level. Why does that have to be the one we toys for Bob?
The only way this could be worse is if you had to play as Cortex. Well, it's a good thing there are still 2 levels left on this list then, isn't it? Coming in as the penultimate position in this pile of piss is the Crate Escape, bringing with it all the joys of a full Cortex level with its terrible platforming, inadequate aiming for the time you have to hit, vertical 2D sections with enemies who can hit you before you can blockify them. Nothing here is enjoyable. And your reward for making it to the end of an entire level with Cortex? Now you get to do a horrendous crash section, having to throw yourself at platforms hoping to cling to whatever time save the crates allow you. Straight up, fuck this level.
Please, 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 I don't give a shit about this shitty level anymore. Yeah! Nothing about that level is fun.
What happened here? This video was supposed to be about achievement grinds, a chance to celebrate not only the fun things a game can offer, but also tell the journey of our own experiences exploring and enjoying the game. Sure, we picked Crash 4 to prove people wrong over how this game was the Dark Souls of platformers, but now it's become the story of how we suffered and fought for over 21 hours against the game, turning anything fun it had into a nightmare devoid of any enjoyment. And it all came to a tipping point here, fittingly enough, the final level of the game. Seeing double. We've made our disdain for the Cortex levels abundantly clear here, and it's such a shame that the level which started to get us to come around and enjoy Cortex with this horizontal movement ends up being the undisputed worst time trial. Everything that was fun from Cortex Castle is gone. You're not here to enjoy finding time save with Crash. You're not even given any enjoyment to find in doing the final section again, since that looming fear of having to go back to the Cortex section hangs over you like the sword of Damocles. This Cortex level could be boiled down to a single sentence. Do it pixel perfectly, first try, or don't do it at all. You are going to have to land perfectly with the dash, turn to fire into these little nooks, then turn back and dash from a moving platform in around a second. Miss that shot? Start over. Take too long making that shot? Your cycles are completely screwed beyond repair. Did you know that if you fire the blaster while Cortex is doing that stupid arm flapping animation, you will cancel it and drop sooner? Yeah, that's right. You're going to have to animation cancel to even get a chance at a good time.
Do you
Need to animation cancel to get the Cortex Platinum Relic?
Yes.
Then why the f didn't you say so?
Even knowing the animation cancel, you're gonna have to figure out the perfect moments to screw the cycles and damage boost through. Our only advice is save one of those for the final vertical section with Cortex before going back to Crash. Finding the right time to thread your dash takes far too long here, so just tank the damage and run, pleading you'll not have to do it over again. After almost 2 hours on the dot though, it was finally over.
Yes! 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 Faster than sound!
23 hours and we only walk away with faster than a tortoise and faster than sound. But wait, there's still more to do. Hubris. Noun. Excessive pride or self-confidence. Example. If we can beat Stormy Ascent in future tense, time trials included, in only 8 hours, well, this can't be much worse. Remember that nice little bonus, the insanely perfect relic, we picked up all the way back for finishing the first level without dying and getting all the crates? It came with an achievement, so-called perfectionist? Well, it seems like Toyswell took a peek over at retro achievements and found those beat the level without dying and breaking any crates achievements for the PS1 Crash game so fun that you should have to do it for every level in Crash 4. Except this time, instead of getting an achievement for each level, you get one achievement for doing every level. And of the 38 needed for Perfectionist, we have 1. Well, no, okay, so we actually have 13, since we picked up a bunch during the inverted playthrough. Originally, we were going through the game and throwing runs that could have gotten us an NPR already, but once again, our hubris has still sought to punish us. We found at least 4 times we could definitely call us throwing runs, and this is totally not us using this as copium for why we died so many times in levels. Just assume every level was us throwing for content, okay? Sure, but why did we pick up more during the inverted section then? Mostly out of spite, if we're honest, since we knew once we were done with the time trials, we'd never have to replay those levels ever again. So aside from the first level, we've also picked up the perfect relics for Hook, Line and Sinker, Give It a Spin, Run It By You, No Dillo-Dallying, Snow Way Out, Blast to the Past, Out for Launch, Shipping Error, Stowing Away, Crash Landed, The Crate Escape, and Toxic Tunnels. Yeah, sorry to burst anyone's bubble hoping to see us crash out over these levels. We can show you the pop-offs though.
That doesn't give us an insanely perfect relic, because... well, this is the inverted version, you don't get... oh, yes! Our second one, never mind! Fuck it, woohoo! Yeah, baby! We might have missed 2, but we didn't! That's the perfect! That's the insanely perfect relic on Run It By You! The worst fucking level in the game! Get the fuck out of here! Yes! Yes! That's another insanely perfect! I never have to come back when we find the hidden! Let that be a back-to-back first try insanely perfect every single gem! Oh yes, that's another insanely perfect! Woo! That's it, that's it, that's it! Yes! 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 That's another insanely perfect! Number 9! And I hate this level! Screw this level! Awful level! I never have to touch it again! Thank you! Woohoo! Number 10! Fuck you, Crash Landed! 11! Worst level in the game! Fuck that! I'm gonna cry now. Let it be 90, baby! Insane perfect 12. 1 jump at a time, baby. 1 jump at a time! That is every single gem in a single run and insanely perfected.
Yes, yes, well done on all that, but celebrations are over now. There's still the other 25 to go, and that includes most of the latter half of the game. We left these till the end because it was something we'd been dreading having to deal with. But when it came to grinding these out, it wasn't that bad?
no, seriously, we're not sure if we finally got good at the game or the time trials broke our sanity so much we hit the level of negative infinity to where it loops back around to being positive, but, well, most of these levels had an attempt count you could count with one hand. We actually had a good time collecting the rest of the NPRs. We'd love to say this was some well-planned or cleverly written subversion of expectation, but this is genuinely what happened. Sure, we had a hell of a time in Jetboard Jetty because we got confused over the crate count a couple of times, and us being an idiot and dying a fair few times in levels, but that's the only problems we had. Turns out when you aren't trying to rush through the levels in ways the game does not like and can look back through footage and notes to get all the crates, focusing on just not dying is actually really easy. But the best part about all of this? Every time we finished a level, we knew that was it. We never had to play that level again. It was almost healing for us in a way. So come, join us in celebrating never having to play this game again. Until we need B-roll footage for this video. Oh,
That's everything, and that's the insanely perfect relic there. Yay! Oh. Yay! Was that first try? That was actually first try! Oh, look at that. First try. Nice. Please don't let me be one off. I'm not one off, baby! Nice. Look at that. We're what, like an hour in, and we've got... How many of these did we do? Like 6? I don't understand. I don't understand how we did that. How did we do that? How are we doing these so quickly? 3 to go. And it's done. Nice. Shout out to this level for having the stupidly hard bonus stage. Done easily. Okay, well, it's done. What did we learn there? If we're gonna take notes, read the notes. First try, right? That was, yeah, first try. Look at that. When we read our own notes, it helps. Yes! Oh, we're starting to get to the point where the level design is so terrible that this isn't as fun. That was a tricky one, that. But it's done now, and we never have to play it again. Yay! Nice! First try! Either we're warmed up for the day, or... yeah, that level was kind of easy. There was 34 nitros! Let's go! Woo! That is the first of... sadly, probably many Cortex levels we have to insanely perfect. That's it, that's it, that's it. That's first try for the day. I want to see 13. I see 13, baby! Woo! Woo-hoo! Let's go. Show me 34. Damn fucking right you do. Damn fucking right you do. One more down. Yes, there we are. Very nice. One less Cortex level we have to play. Dino Dash in 1. I don't understand. How did we do that? Woohoo! It's another one done. Loved playing the other one so much that we had to just do it again. And that's Food Run done. Beautiful level. One of my favorites. Just that last little section where it's pure platforming. Ah! Did I say we have no platforming skills? I fucking lied, baby! First try, we get the insanely perfect relic. Show me the money. Damn right you show me the money, baby! Woo! Yes, yes, yes! Show me 8! You show me 8! Last one remaining! Seeing double, and we're done! And that is it! Insanely perfect! Perfectionist! Every level, every insanely perfect relic in 79 hours! But we're not done yet. We have 2 more achievements to go for. First of all, the 100% bonus ending. What the?
Well, let's just say I'm doing just fine.
What? That was overachiever. Now let's get overachiever. Here's our bonus ending. Uka Uka's alive. Woo! Let's go! Game's over!
it's done. I never have to play this game again.
Nothing like a good cry session to finish a grind, eh? So, finally conquering this game after 79 hours, we can safely say that all those comments about this game being the Dark Souls of platformers are still totally untrue. Those games are apparently fun. While the base game itself is fantastic and adds some brilliant new mask power-ups to use in the vibrant level designs, Toys for Bob have fundamentally missed the mark with what these collectathon games are doing. Trying to up the difficulty for the adults who grew up with the original Crash games should not be the target audience. Crash was a kids game. Market it as a kids game. Even then, when core elements from the previous games are awkwardly changed for the worse, you aren't exactly pleasing the people you were marketing this to in the first place. Take invincibility for an example. In the original games, your masks carried over between levels, rewarding you for careful play and giving more opportunities to get rewarded with invincibility when normally you shouldn't have it. Here though, nearly all the times you actually get to use invincibility are in the time trials, not normal play, and that's only because they're the times when they actually put in enough masks. Also, Jesus Christ, somebody needed to tell Toys for Bob no when it came to all the pointlessly superfluous shit they threw into this game. The older Crash games were a short but sweet adventure which developed your skills to steer you into going for more of the collectibles. It even rewarded you with more levels to enjoy if you did. This game is either a 5-hour experience where you never engage with any of it, or an 80-hour, unyielding, carpal tunnel-inducing, unfun slog that hates you for engaging with it like an introvert who was dragged to a party. There is no balance with what you get out of playing this game. It's almost sad that the only things we remember from this game are how terrible 54 out of our 79-hour grind was because of all that padding or god's awful mechanics. It's a 4 out of 10, and the game can thank us for being this generous. Even trying to put some kind of a number to this grind breaks our scale. Crash 4 is an 11 out of 10. Repetitive grinds aren't anything new for us, just look at Persona 5 Strikers. But where Crash goes so wrong is what actions you are repeating. Assuming you're a god's gift to gaming, you'll play each level once for all 6 gems and the insanely perfect relic, a second time for the inverted version, and then again for the time trial. That's 3 times minimum. And that's not even including the fact that the timeline levels are basically just half of a level you've already played before, so some levels could be done over 6 times. That's not mindless grinding, that's just boring padding. But Crash 4 isn't just overly long. It also expects way too much from you. Unlike Hi-Fi Rush, getting good at the game mechanics doesn't matter. You need to be perfect. No, you need to be so perfect that when the game fucks around with its unintentional bullshit, you're able to deal with it. You have to be so perfect that you make up for the game's shortcomings. As you saw during the video, by the end of this grind, the best thing about these levels was knowing we'd never have to play them again. The hardest achievement should be obvious. Fun fact, we're actually still writing this script while the grind is ongoing, but unless the last 14 perfect relics tear us a new arsehole twice over, it's still faster than sound. A melting pot of crappy level design choices and game mechanics, overly strict time limits, and the devs thinking that knowing the game down to its literal code means the players should be able to too, culminates in the perfect recipe for faster than sound to be a hellish achievement. So, was that true? So were the platinum relic runs harder than the insanely perfect relic runs? Yes! Fuck these time trials. I think we've got our answer. But with that, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you very much to everyone who has found, followed, and stuck around in this video. Do let us know what you'd like to see us play next, and be sure to check down in the description below where you can find and follow some more content and entertainment. Until then, though, we have been Ultrasonic Blur, you nerds have been a fantastic audience, and we shall see you all next time. That's only a 9!